Hello again. This is Radio Entrepreneurs. My name is Jeffrey Davis, and I'm host of Radio Entrepreneurs and also chairman of the board of Mage LLC. And, I have a lot of different hats I wear in my career. One hat I wear is that I'm the co-founder of the Family Business Association of Massachusetts. And we recently had our award ceremony, and glad to see our next guest was not only a finalist, but also won in the large business category. Before I introduce them as the winner, I want to introduce my co-host, the one, the only, Peter Myerson. Welcome, Peter.
Thanks, Jeffrey. It's great to be here.
Thank you very much. I know you weren't at the Family Business Awards. You have been in the past, and you know how big it is and how much families love being there. Our next guests are Stephen Basile, Executive Vice President, and Joseph Basile, owner of Catania Oils. I hope everybody's using olive oil, and we're going to want to know more about you, your family, and how the whole business got going. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Great. Again, congratulations on winning the large business category. Tell us about Catania Oils, a little bit about the history.
Sure. Catania Oils, it started with our great-grandfather, actually. He started back in Sicily selling oil house to house, and he came over here to this country, and he basically started the same business. So as our grandfather grew, then he started selling oil house to house as well, all over Boston, the North End, Cambridge. And as time went on, he realized that he was doing a lot of work doing this house-to-house thing. So he decided, well, why can't I sell restaurants? And from restaurants to retail to also selling manufacturers. Enter the third generation in the 1970s or so, and every generation has managed to take the business, a step further. And Joe and I represent the fourth generation, and it's our job to continue the legacy that our great-grandfather started.
Great. So I assume your father was in the business first. Tell us about how you entered the business and what was that was like, because then we can compare it to your son.
Absolutely. So the business for us, we're brothers. Not sure if you know that, but
sorry.
No worries. We're both part of the fourth generation. We're about a year apart, and we entered the business as a teenager, and it was going to the plant basically on weekends with our grandfather. And we were in Somerville, Mass. at that point in time, about 10-minute drive from the house, and he was there every single day. And we really just enjoyed, going there, spending time with him, sweeping the floor, changing out leakers and stuff of that nature. And when we really got old enough, we entered the business more in a part-time job, working on the manufacturing side of it, driving forklifts, anything that was necessary. One of our first jobs that we'll never forget was our father bought about 10 loads of imported olive oil from Turkey in 5-liter tin cans. And we had to take little metal can openers and actually open those individually and dump them into a little bit of a vat to get the oil into a bulk tank. So that was one of our funnest memories growing up.
It's interesting. So, I am a fourth generation. My great-grandfather ran a furniture business in Ohio, and the business really ended at the end of the third generation. So I'm not involved in the business, although I did work in it one summer.
I thought you were in a family business of psychiatry.
That's the other side of the family.
Okay.
Maybe that's why the furniture business didn't survive. I don't know. But, so I understand how hard it is to keep going within a family business and have it be successful. What have been the challenges that you guys have faced in terms of dealing with your father and your grandfather?
And each other.
That's a better question, maybe, but overall, what are the challenges that you face?
And I would say, working with your grandfather to working with each other, how much of the rules changed?
It's kind of funny. I mean, rules really haven't changed, too much. It is absolutely challenging being in a family business. There's about 13 of us total. Between cousins and aunts and uncles, father or siblings that are involved in the business. And really it's about passion and having some type of, ground rule and understanding that once you hit that, door, you're walking into the business, and whatever family things kind of stay at that point in time, and it's really all about coming together and about the business being for the masses, not necessarily for the individual, and it's really just about talking more than anything.
Yeah, and it's definitely okay to have a difference of opinion as long as you respect one another, and ultimately you come together with some type of resolution and maybe a better forward path than had anticipated prior.
I hear what you're saying, but I think it's a little different, and I think it's about leadership. So I can tell you that the reason that the third generation didn't survive is because my great-grandfather parceled out ownership interests to a whole bunch of cousins, and by the time my mother was involved, she was third generation, they had to buy in from 30 people. And my uncle, who was running the business, was a great guy. I lived with him for a year, but he was not a great leader. And the business failed for that reason. So, I'm just sort of kind of...
All right. Well, we're not going to honor Peter's family today, so we'll honor you. We're going to. I'm just joking. Yeah, but in doing my work with family businesses, I can usually tell sort of like a degree of problems. The more it's run by a family set of rules, and the more it's run by a corporate set of rules, and it's really that simple. Is it driven as a business, or is it driven as a family?
Completely agree. We are driven as a business. We're a business first and family second. We just happen to be a family that's running a business.
I would say that's one of the things that's really changed a lot for us over the last 15 to 20 years is from that smaller, 2-3 family leadership perspective to having, 11 people or 8 people within a fourth generation that are entering that business and making sure that, the company is, shifting and changing and adapting to a structure that's appropriate for the business to survive.
Have you ever had conflict with family that, sort of like had to suspend them, send them home because they weren't performing up to standards, or you said they weren't good enough for the job? Have you had to enforce corporate rules on family at times over the generations?
Yeah, we've had some tough conversations with some family members over the times. It's no different than any other business. It's just you have that one other dynamic that other businesses don't necessarily have that just makes those conversations a little bit harder. But the conversations need to be had.
Well, to some degree, it's kind of like giving someone a timeout and saying, go to your own.
Yeah.
So how did the two of you divide up the responsibilities? Do you overlap a lot, or do you sort of separate it out?
We definitely overlap a little bit. I tend to be more on like the sales and marketing end, and he tends to be more on operations and dealing with a lot of like the corporate councils.
I think what I'll say is I think to some degree we complement each other a lot relative to strengths and weaknesses in a sense. And growing up in the business, we did a lot of different things both in the plant and then on the administrative side, from sales to purchasing, and the way the business has grown over the last 20 years has created a lot of opportunity for not only us but the entire family to slide into roles that are appropriate based on their skills and stuff.
Yeah, we have 13 family members involved in the business today, and they're involved in different at different capacities. Some in sales, some in logistics, some in finance, supply chain, warehousing. So kind of really all over the map. So it's kind of good to see that from my standpoint, anyways.
Where would you like to see the business go?
Yeah, it's a great question. One thing we get often asked, and for us, it's really about taking the company to the next level. We're not satisfied, with the growth that we've seen. We want to be able to pass this torch on to a fifth generation at some point in time and really leave our mark. So for us, we have national, coverage all over the country. Most of our volume is really in the Northeast down to the Carolina area. In the near future, there could be possibly a secondary location or something along those lines that would more solidify our national coverage in a sense.
I assume your products are more than olive oil today?
Yeah, olive oil is like 5% of our overall volume. Even though we're one of the largest importers of olive oil in the United States, when you look at the sheer volume of vegetable oil, so soybean oil, canola oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, all the different varieties, non-GMO oils, organic oils, the list just goes on, and I sound like Bubba Gump, right? But it's true. So olive oil still has a lot of opportunity for growth in the United States, and then that's what we're trying to do, is to try to continue to grow that footprint. But yeah, it's vegetable oil is really the major volume.
Vegetable oil is the major volume, but we're trying to get innovative with packaging as well by introducing back in the box for olive oil, something new that we've released at the retail level as well as food service, where the olive oil is basically protected and in a sealed package So it's been new that we're hitting the marketplace.
So on to the Family Business Awards. Why did you apply for the award? Or did somebody put your name in?
I believe somebody put our name in, but once we knew our name was in, we took it pretty seriously because obviously this family business, it means so much to us, and my grandfather who just put so much into it. I think that we really wanted to do right by him and his name. So I'm glad we participated and were awarded the Family Business
Were you
of the Year.
surprised that you won?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that we went in knowing that we were going to win. It's always nice, to feel like we felt good about it. We felt really good about it. But once your name's called, then you kind of take a deep breath.
We've had a lot of food companies win. We've had Stavis win. We had
Yeah.
Agar win.
Yeah.
All those companies have sort of changed hands since then.
Sure.
You're still controlling your business.
I mean, what's interesting about it is, there's always a lot of great Philly businesses that you're surrounded
Yep.
by, whether it's in that room or others that maybe haven't, applied. So we're obviously very, thankful for the opportunity and, really appreciate all the employees back at home that, make it possible, because it's not really about us. It's about the employees, right?
Well, you had the
That's
biggest
right.
crowd up on the podium, so. Stephen and Joseph, if somebody wants to find Catania Oils, how would they do that?
Well, if you're in the retail store, Market Basket is really the best place to find us. Our brand is actually Marconi or La Spagnola. If you want to learn more about us, you can check us out at cataniaoils.com, and certainly enjoy a lot of the restaurants in the local area because they're serving our oils there.
I want to thank you for being on the show today. We hope you come back again.
Thank you very
for
much.
having us.
We want to show the product. Send us some pictures so we can put it up with the videos.
Absolutely.
Great. And I want to thank Peter Myerson, my co-host, for also helping me out here. And sorry, your family didn't win the Family Business Award. Has to stay in business,
They would
Peter.
have liked to.
Yes, I'm sure they would have. My name is Jeffrey Davis of Mage LLC, and we're going to take a break. We'll be right back after these messages.